The circle of fifths is way more interesting than you might think. In fact, it's even interesting how we can construct the circle of fifths, we'll say from scratch. Now I know you could memorize the sequence of notes, or we can just play it on a couple of strings on the guitar and just move up, moving in power chord shape, and we're going to use that for a little bit. But there's a really neat thing that comes out when we start using the tritone and the idea of a tritone in this. So I'm going to just take you through this. I'm going to try to do this graphically in sync with my demonstration, but we'll see how that works out. So let's just think about the circle of fifths. It is a circle. We're going to start at a single note. That single note is C. That's the start of any of our octaves that we're going to create and number, enumerate. So starting with the letter C, we could ask ourselves, what is the note that has C as a fifth? Okay, that's an interesting sort of question. Well, I have a C sitting right here, and if I make a power chord out of that, I find the note that has C as a fifth, and that in this case is an F. So we have our F power chord. All right, there's our first element. And so we have our very first contribution, if you like, to the circle of fifths. Now we can come down to the bottom two strings. We have a C that we all know and recognize sitting here, and we can make a power chord out of that. And so the two notes are, of course, a C and a G, and we can keep that process going, playing each of the notes. The notes on the first string are going to have as their fifth the note right above it, and then the power chord provides the other contribution. Now, there's no problem. We can make the whole circle of fifths from that, but I find the second we get to the accidentals, I get confused. I'm always looking for the notes and backing up, and it kind of drives me a little squirrely. And so once I've completed the major scale, that is to say I have C, D, E, and F, then I'm going to come here and go G, A, B, C. So we have that last power chord that is our C and F. I'm going to stop using the guitar at this point, and I'm going to use the circle of fifths, and I'm going to invoke the idea of the tritone. Remember, the tritone on the circle of fifths is the note directly across from the note that we might be considering, say, the scale we're working in. So I have a C at the start. If I look right across from it, I'm in the scale of C, C major, and I'm going to go right across from it, and I'm going to say, hey, what is that note? Well, remember how the tritone is made. If we have a C, we know the fourth is right below it, and we know the fifth is in the power chord position. The tritone is right between it. So it has the note named either an F sharp or a G flat. Now, I like flats for this. It doesn't really matter what you use. The enharmonics all come into play here. But suddenly you see immediately I just had to look at the fifth, the note to the right of the slot I was working with, and I now know the name of that particular note on my circle of fifths. And I just keep the process going. And so once I've completed the major scale notes, I've gotten up to a B note, now I'm able to go and put all the accidentals in right from the notes I've already created. Maybe that's a little geeky, maybe that's a little bit out of everybody's interest, but I think that is a really cool way of building the circle of fifths, just remembering things that we know right away. That is to say, we need to know which notes have a note as a fifth and what is the fifth of a particular note, and then this idea of how a tritone is named. I think that's a really useful approach. I'm having a lot of fun regenerating my tritones or my circle of fifths using the tritones. Hopefully you found this interesting. I'm kind of enjoying this exploration.